Now, although the MTA has played a pivotal role with many victories, there are some challenges. What do you feel are some of the internal challenges currently facing the MTA?
So I have a unique experience because I'm working internally and I see the landscape differently than I saw it as a member, right? One of the things that I see is that we are siloed in our campaigns for the working conditions that we deserve. So, for example, we have para educators who are fighting for the right to make a living wage. Likewise, we have adjunct professors and our members at our community colleges engaged in the same campaign for fair wages and healthcare benefits. And what we need to do is to align the two, and not only align them, but then to make their fight our fight. So it's not just we're going to the State House and we're asking the educators, the adjunct professors to show up for this bill, but that we're all showing up. And I saw a really great example last week, Region C, where the paraprofessionals are leading the work with the adjunct professors down there to bring a legislative forum forward to the elects down on the Cape to talk about their united fight. And educators, classroom educators were asked to show up, but to listen and to let the paras and the adjunct professors lead and make it really clear that their fight is our fight. So for me, that's one of the concerns. And the other concern, listen, we're all working really hard and systems are in place and patriarchy is alive and well everywhere, right? But I think we need to do a better job of using power and privilege and have it be outward facing rather than inward facing. I think really grounded leadership is centered in not being the smartest person in the room, but the person who has the skill set to assemble the diversity of thought, to be a thought partner, to build consensus, and then to work collaboratively for the union we deserve, and not to use my power to create the union that I think you deserve.
Yeah, I would say that the internal challenge is it's really the diversity of the membership. It's that as a body, it's varied and it's fragmented. I mean, we have hundreds of locals. We have public higher education that's different, campus to campus, and community college to at the university level. And so I think that the members are going to disagree about the issues that matter most, and they're going to disagree about the direction that MTA should take. Maybe they're going to even disagree on the campaigns that we decide to support or the positions that we want to take. But I think in all of that, it's really important, as Deb was saying, that we work on finding points of solidarity through, democratic and collaborative processes where we can give members the opportunity to give input and help direct what the agenda should be. So I guess that's what I'd say, that our strength, which is diverse perspectives, really from across the Commonwealth and from all the locals that make us up collectively, that's a strength in some sense, but it's also a challenge because it's about really trying to figure out how we all row the boat in the same direction when we face real differences in terms of our working experience.
I have a follow-up question to that. Where does transparency play a role within these internal MTA challenges? So we'll talk about annual meeting in a little bit. There are tens of thousands of members who probably don't know that's where the president and the vice president are elected. Decisions made by the board, why we're a part of certain campaigns over potentially others, what our legislative priorities are, like where does transparency fall into the internal struggles?
So if you don't mind, I'll go first and then you can piggyback after it, only because I have two specific examples because I'm internal. But when I was first elected as the chair of government relations, right, we were deliberate in changing the system in that it wasn't members who were appointed to a committee who got to decide what the legislative agenda would be. Rather, we opened it up, right? And we said any member could come forward with their legislative proposal. And we would be serious that it's member driven, right? You chair that and engage in that same process. As a vice president, I chair the advisory budget committee, and there has been a structure in place for years that the president gets to appoint who was on the committee. We have 3 meetings, and we bring it to the EC, then we bring it to the board, and the member gets to participate in the process for the first time at annual meeting. This time around, had the opportunity to bring to the EC a couple of weeks ago, can we bring the members in from the beginning? And so at our first ABC meeting this year, members are going to be provided the opportunity, if they ask, to watch so that they are educated and informed about the budget, which is critical because it's their dues that drives the process. We need to do more of that. We need to bring the members in to the decision-making processes, even if they are simply being educated about the process. And that's what I would like to see more of if elected as the president.
Yeah, I would agree with what Deb is saying. I served for 6 years on the Government Relations Committee that Deb chaired, and Deb did do this innovative thing where instead of the committee from a top-down perspective formulating the legislative agenda under Deb's leadership, it was really the first time that we invited members to share input into what legislation should be. And I think it's a great example of Deb's thinking in this area. And I really share that view. I'll say that even at my local, which is the Massachusetts Society of Professors, which has been traditionally strong local, in terms of our contracts and the victories that we've made, I don't think that there's a deep understanding from the membership about what MTA actually does and how it goes about doing it. So for me, it's not just transparency, but maybe it's a need for a little bit more member education. Typical member may know what's going on in terms of the local, in terms of negotiating a contract, issues in a building or on a campus, let's say. But in terms of really MTA's engagement, I think that we could do more as a union to have members both understand what we do and how to be more involved in the process.
Great. Thank you both.